It is 2007. A doctor stands outside a patient room in a cardiac ICU. 80-hour work weeks, constant emergencies, almost no sleep. From the outside, she looks composed, but inside, her heart is racing. She feels like she is losing control of her own body. Here is the twist. She is the doctor, not the patient. She goes home, Googles her symptoms, orders her own tests. Everything comes back normal. Then it hits her. This is not a heart problem. This is stress. That doctor was Dr. Aditi Nerurkar, Harvard physician, stress expert, and author of one of the most practical books on burnout I have ever read.
She spent years treating patients for stress-related illness while quietly drowning in it herself. We have been told that pushing through is resilience. She calls this toxic resilience, the most dangerous lie modern culture has told us about our health. This is the full summary of the 5 resets. Let us get into it. Real resilience is not endurance. It is your brain and body's biological ability to recover after stress by working with your biology, not against it. Your brain has an alarm system called the amygdala. Any threat, a lion, a deadline, an email at midnight, triggers cortisol and adrenaline. Heart rate spikes, breathing goes shallow, fight or flight. The problem? Modern stress is chronic and invisible, and your brain cannot tell the difference between physical danger and a notification. So fight or flight stays permanently on, exhausting you until your system breaks. Burnout is not a character flaw. It is a biological outcome. 70% of adults show burnout symptoms. Stress plays a role in 80% of doctor visits. Only 3% of physicians address it. That gap is why this book exists. Dr. Nerurkar also introduces canary symptoms, your body's early warning signals. For her, it was heart palpitations. For patients, 3 a.m. wake-ups, persistent headaches, snapping at loved ones, losing joy. Learn to listen to your canary before stress becomes critical. She also offers a personalized stress score in the book, a self-assessment to track your stress with real data, not guesswork. Reset 1. Get clear on what matters most. Dr. Nerurkar shares the story of Jeanette, a patient who had a stroke at 58. A woman who spent decades managing a household, raising children, building a career. Suddenly, she could not walk. She moved through the fear zone of paralysis, the learning zone of slow rebuilding, and finally, the growth zone, where she rediscovered what truly mattered to her, things she had been far too busy to notice before. When buried in chronic stress, we lose our compass. Every stressor feels equally urgent because we have no filter. We react to everything because we have prioritized nothing. The tool is the MOST goal: motivating, objective, small, and timely. A MOST goal sounds like walk 20 minutes 3 times a week for the next month. Specific, achievable, connected to what you genuinely care about. And the resilience rule of 2. Research shows building more than 2 new habits simultaneously causes most people to fail. Not from weak willpower, but because the brain simply cannot carry that weight. Pick only 2 habits. Build them in, feel the win, then add more. Small is not weak. Small is the only thing that genuinely sticks. Reset 2. Find quiet in a noisy world. Dr. Nerurkar introduces popcorn brain. When you spend too much time scrolling, bouncing from headline to reel to notification, your brain gets conditioned to expect constant stimulation. And when you try to stop, your brain simply cannot. It keeps popping. The average person touches their phone 2,617 times per day. Over 50% check it within 5 minutes of waking, before a single independent thought has formed. Think about what that does to your stress before your day has even started. Her prescription is a media diet. No more than 20 minutes of social media or news twice a day. Push notifications off. Phone out of the bedroom. No screens for the first and last 30 minutes of each day. She also prescribes the bookend method, morning and evening rituals that signal your brain when one chapter of the day ends and another begins. And for remote workers, the fake commute. The physical commute once provided a biological buffer between work self and home self. When it disappeared, millions lost the ability to switch off. Recreate it. Walk around the block before opening your laptop. Step outside when work ends. Your brain runs on ritual and responds to this more powerfully than you would ever expect.
Reset 3. Sync your brain and your body. Your mind and body are one system in constant conversation. What happens in your head shows up in your body, and what you do with your body directly reshapes your brain. The most powerful immediate tool is stop, breathe, be. When stress hits, stop whatever you are doing. Breathe, slow and deep. Belly expands on the inhale, full release on the exhale. Be. Bring your full attention to your physical body right now. Feel your feet on the floor. The biology? Slow breathing activates the vagus nerve, the primary pathway of your parasympathetic nervous system. When activated, it signals your amygdala directly. Danger has passed. Stand down. You can turn off your stress response with your breath in under 60 seconds. That is neuroscience, not a metaphor. A 20-minute walk outside lowers cortisol and builds neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to form calmer new pathways over time. Every calming behavior you practice is literally rewiring how your brain responds to stress. And your gut produces up to 90% of your body's serotonin, the neurotransmitter most linked to calm and emotional stability. Food is a direct mental health decision. Dr. Nerurkar points to a Mediterranean-style diet as one of the most evidence-backed ways to build your brain's resilience from within. Reset 4. Come up for air. Multitasking is a myth. Your brain cannot process two cognitive tasks at once. It rapidly switches between them, burning glucose and spiking cortisol with every switch. People who multitask are measurably less accurate and more stressed than those who focus on one thing. The solution is monotasking. One thing. Fully present. Pair this with the Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes of focused work, then a genuine 5-minute break. Not scrolling. Stand up, stretch, look outside. Then return. And sleep. Even losing 1 to 2 hours per night consistently impairs your prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational thinking and emotional regulation. It raises your baseline cortisol and makes every stressor feel larger than it actually is. Phone out of the bedroom. Consistent sleep and wake times every day. Protect the first 30 minutes of morning as screen-free. Rest is not the reward for finishing your work. It is the biological condition that makes quality work possible. Reset 5. Bring your best self forward. Dr. Nerurkar is now talking about identity, about who you become when stress stops running your life from backstage. She introduces the inner critic, that voice loudest when you are most exhausted. The one saying you are falling behind, not enough, and everyone else is managing just fine. The neuroscience? Chronic stress locks your amygdala in high alert mode. Even a small mistake triggers a shame spiral completely out of proportion to what happened. The danger is when we mistake the inner critic for the truth. Her prescription is specific daily gratitude practice, real, intentional noticing of what went right, who helped, what small moment was better than expected. Research shows this gradually rewires your brain's default scanning mode. You are not changing your circumstances, you are changing how your brain interprets them. She also recommends expressive writing, raw, unfiltered journaling that lowers cortisol and creates clarity hard to access otherwise, and living a lifetime in a day. In a single ordinary day, build in childlike wonder, purposeful work, a moment of movement or music,
and quiet reflection before sleep. Not perfectly, just intentionally. And finally, self-compassion. You will have bad weeks. Just begin again, without punishment, without the spiral.
Here is what makes this book different. Dr. Nerurkar never asks you to pretend stress does not exist. She gives you a biology-first understanding of how stress actually works and small, specific, free tools that work with your brain instead of against it. Start here. Identify your canary symptom, the one signal that tells you stress is getting ahead of you. Just naming it is more powerful than it sounds. Then pick 2 resets, only 2. Apply them for 30 days and notice what shifts. The resilience rule of 2 is not a compromise. It is the entire method. Because real, lasting change is always smaller and more consistent than we expect. Drop a like and tell me in the comments which reset you are starting with. And if you know someone running on empty, send this to them today. I will see you in the next one.